Simon & Schuster Audio and Grove Atlantic present
The Golden Egg by Donna Leon. Read by David Rintoul. Lasciate che al mio core, al mio bene, io porga almen gli ultimi baci. Ai, bene. Leave me to give my beloved, my son, one last kiss. Ah, what suffering. Julia Cesare, Handel. Chapter 1. It was a peaceful night at the Brunetti home, and dinner progressed in harmony. Brunetti sat at his usual place, his son Raffi beside him. Opposite Brunetti sat his wife Paola, and beside her their daughter Chiara. A plate of fritto misto, to which vegetables, particularly Chiara's current favourite, carrots, had been added with a liberal hand, had initiated the peaceful mood. The conversation had maintained it. School, work, a neighbour's new puppy, the first labradoodle to be seen in Venice, the topics flowed into and from one another, and then on to yet others, all of them tied in some way to the city in which they lived. Though they were Venetian, the conversation took place in Italian rather than in Veneziano, Brunetti and Paola having decided that the children would learn the dialect anyway from their friends and on the street. This had indeed happened, and so the children spoke Veneziano as easily as did their father, who had been raised speaking it. Paola had picked it up, and it was perhaps to her credit that it embarrassed her to confess this, from the servants who had filled her family's palazzo when she was growing up, rather than from her parents, and so she spoke it less fluently than the others. She felt no embarrassment, quite the contrary, in having achieved almost native fluency in English from her childhood nanny, and was pleased that she had managed to pass the language on to both her children, though the transmission had been aided by classes with a private tutor and summer study in England. Families, much in the manner of churches, have rituals and rules which puzzle non-members. They also place high value on things which members of other groups do not prize to the same degree. If the Brunettis had a religion, aside from a formal adherence to some of the outward, decorative manifestations of Christianity, it was language. Puns and jokes, crossword puzzles and teasers were to them what communion and confirmation were to Catholics. Bad grammar was a venial sin. Deliberate corruption of meaning was mortal. The children had taken pride in reaching the stages of awareness where they, too, could partake in the progressively more serious sacraments. Raised in this faith, they did not think to question its values. Later, when the plates from which they had eaten the baked finocchio...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?